Hi, everyone. You're very, very welcome to our Wednesday night call. We have a very, very special lady on tonight. Her name is Joyce McMahon, and she has an incredible story to share with all you guys. Okay, so please give her lots of love in the chats. She is being very vulnerable tonight. She is going to open up and share where she was a couple of years ago, what happened, and where she is today and what she's found. Okay, so Joyce, if you could please unmute yourself there. And Joyce,
Hi.
if you could please just simply introduce yourself to everyone as you know who you are and what you do.
Okay. Hi, Ed. Thanks for having me, first of all, Sabrina. Hi, everybody. How are you? So, my name is Joyce. I am a married mom of three kids, two teenagers, one almost a teenager, and I am a social care worker. So, I work with people with autism and special needs. So, that's what I do. And I
Very,
suppose,
very busy, very busy and demanding job.
yes, it's a busy, demanding job. I have a busy family life. We're big into rugby and sport and that. We're always on the road. I literally am never off the road, actually. It's constantly on the go. So, I guess I'll just go back to the start
Yeah.
and
So let's rewind all the way back, Joyce, to where you
yeah,
were and how you felt, before you started on these products.
yeah. So when I heard I was coming on this call, I really had to think, had to bring myself back to where I was and put myself kind of back in the shoes of Joyce of 2.5 years ago. So 2.5 years ago, nearly 3 years ago, we'll say, I was in a different job, which had huge amount of stress and a huge amount of responsibility. I have a mom who has Parkinson's, so I was helping out with her and a family, and I was doing all of the things. So all of the things that every other mom does and every other wife and mom, looks after people. But I suppose I was so in the thick of everything, I didn't really realize that I was sort of as bad as I was. So my energy was on the floor. I had, I was surviving on coffees. Okay. Wake up in the morning, straight away coffee. I wouldn't even have breakfast. I'd have a second coffee by 10 o'clock and I'd be up to 4 or 5 by lunchtime. And then, of course, I wasn't sleeping, partially because of the caffeine, but also because I just couldn't. My mind was racing all the time and I was tossing and turning. It would take me, we'd say, I would lie there, Sabrina, for hours trying to get to sleep. And then when I did get to sleep, I would wake up every time I was turning over, looking at the clock, just waiting for the night to be over. And what I realize now, looking back, is at that time, I literally was just existing. I was getting everything done that I needed to do, but I was slowly but surely losing myself. So I think the crux of it came when I actually was at work one day and I started to lose my eyesight. I started to lose the vision in one of my eyes. And then it went across and it went into both eyes. Now, at the time, I didn't know what it was. Well, it took a while to find out, but I have a sister who has a brain tumor. So of course my head was like, oh my God, this is it, this is my time, I'm done, that's it. So I ended up in hospital. I was in hospital for a week, and because of my sister's history, they were doing all kinds of brain scans and all kinds of everything, and they thought I might have had a stroke. They thought if they were thinking all kinds of things. And it turns out that it was an ocular migraine. But I just didn't get a headache. So I felt sick, but I had just the vision loss and all that. I just didn't get the headache. So but when I was in the hospital, it was a really big wake up call for me. So I had a lot of time to think. I mean, I was writing notes to my kids going, that this is thinking of down the road. I'm writing a note to my daughter for her wedding day. I'm writing notes to the lads. This is what you were like when you were younger in case dad forgets. Like I was doing all that when I was in hospital. I didn't know what was wrong. And I had been in and out of the doctors asking, saying there was this wrong and that wrong and all that. And I was just being told, you're just anxious. So that was all going on. And I had seen a lady online, and I had said to myself, when I was in hospital, I went, right, that's it. I have to do something. I can't go on like this. So I contacted Colleen Neefsey to speak to her about weight loss and general health because I had been putting on a lot of weight as well. So they were telling me in the hospital I was stressed, I was this, I was that, my cholesterol had gone up and all of that. And she was absolutely phenomenally amazing. Okay. And we started working together, and I started to notice kind of a shift in my energy and all that. But I was still suffering with what I now know was perimenopause symptoms. So we'll say I'm not a very angry person, right? I'm very placid in a lot of ways, but I would come home from work and I would see the table a mess, let's say homework stuff and dinner dishes on the table. I would lose my absolute nut just simply because the table wasn't cleared. And it drove me to insane. And the kids were like, who is this person? Like it's called menopause rage, but I didn't know what was wrong with me. I just thought I was going crazy. I really did. And I'm slowly but surely kind of like I'm dying inside, like I'm like, what am I doing to my kids? My marriage was, to be honest, quite rocky. I was different and everybody noticed it, but I could not figure out. And I was going into the doctor. He was saying, I might put you on anxiety medication. I was like, really don't want to go down that road. I know there's something else. There has to be something else. And I started getting all of these like itchy skin and I would take my top off going to bed and then all of a sudden I would be covered like somebody would scrape me, my back, my arms, and it would go bright red and it was like burning, itchy, and it was literally just from the dust of everyday life taking it off. It was like an allergic reaction. And my doctor's response was, you're going to have to take an antihistamine every day. Right, great, lovely, fine, fine. It got so bad, I ended up getting a prescription antihistamine because I was having so many reactions to everything. Then you add in your hot flushes, the not sleeping, it's no wonder I was nuts. Do you know what I mean? I literally, it's just like losing myself. And if anybody takes anything from me telling my story today is I really want women to know it's okay because you're not crazy. I thought I would wake up going, or I'd sit up at night and I'd be like, I am actually going mad. Like I cannot figure out what's wrong with me. The doctor says I'm fine, my bloods are okay, everything's grand, but I know myself something's not right. So I wasn't looking after myself. The self-care was non-existent because I was so knackered, Sabrina. I had no energy to do anything except what I had to do. So me was always gone. So I would love people to just realize it's all right to make time for yourself. You know what I mean? And I never thought that because I just was barely surviving on coffee. Like literally, and I'm not joking, I hardly ever ate. I was never hungry because I was always just buzzing. But that led to its own kind of, the crashes that you get, and then it'd be 3 o'clock of the day and I'd be like absolutely exhausted. I would forget things. I forgot kids' appointments, you know. Um, and I really, really wasn't in a great place at all. I was just losing myself. It was an awful time for me, I have to say, because I am naturally kind of a very happy person. And for it to be such a decline like it slowly happened over a few years, but then drastically happened, once I hit like my 42 or 3, do you know, that kind of a way. So that was kind of going back to the start, I suppose, really.
Yeah. So I'd say, to go through all that, Joyce, was obviously not nice. And you kind of, I think in life, you get to a stage and when you go to the doctor, it will be constant medication because they don't know what else to do except prescribe you,
Yeah.
obviously, with a medication. So obviously you were working alongside Colleen and,
Mhm.
what did she start to recommend to you to start taking? So what product
So
did you actually start on?
So what I started on was the fruit and veg. Now, obviously, Colleen's advice was you need to change your lifestyle, you need to reduce your stress, you need to look at your diet and your movement and your water and all of those good things that you have to do. But all of that had slipped for me. So then she recommended these, fruit and veg. And of course, I'm thinking, I thought this woman was, fairly good. I'm like, what is she on about? Fruit and veg. Never had I heard of these things at all. I hadn't a clue about it, but I trusted her. So I said, right, I'll start. That's fine. I'll start on them. Anything to help what I have to help myself. So that's what I started on. And that was in October. And by the Christmas, when my sisters came home, I hadn't seen them in a couple of months, and we were all gathered round. Like it was before Christmas, I think, just a day or two before. And we're all in Mom's house making stuff for Christmas and chatting away. I come from a family where there's six girls and one boy, so the six girls tend to sit around or whatever. And they were like, what has come over you? Like you're buzzing. I was going around and I was happy and I was, really like there was a noticeable difference. I hadn't noticed it. I didn't, but the girls did. They were like, no, whatever you're on, I want some of that. Like, what are you on? And I had switched to decaf coffee, so I was breaking my habit. I still like the taste of it. I still, love all that. But they noticed a difference in me. And I went, right, okay, actually, it might be because I'm taking these, but I
It's funny.
still was,
Sorry, Joyce. I
hmm?
was just going to say it's funny when you say that you actually didn't really notice it yourself. Because a lot of people say that other people notice the benefits first before they actually notice themselves. It's funny whether it's the skin or the energy or there's just a different glow about you. So I think that's
Yeah,
interesting because sometimes people don't notice it themselves. It's the other person that actually notices.
yeah. And it was still very early on, and I was only on them 2 months, so I suppose because I was so busy and I didn't really. But when I thought about it, I was like, oh, actually, yeah, you're right. So I still was suffering with all of those perimenopause symptoms. And the doctor had come back to me and he said, right, we're going to consider HRT. I've done the bloods, blah, blah, blah. It's showing up. It's even in your bloods now. I was like, well, okay, fine. So what do we do? He started talking about HRT, but he wanted me to see a specialist because I had those health problems, we say before, within the hospital and the whole lot and the migraines and all that. So he wanted me to see a specialist. So I went to Colleen and I said, okay, is there anything I can take that would help with these symptoms? Obviously, not cure me, but help me. So she said, 100% omegas and berries. I said, Grant. Because I felt the benefits and I had been noticed, girls had noticed the benefits of fruit and veg, I added in the berries and the omegas. And when I tell you, it was what my body was craving. The difference really, really quickly. By January, I was like, I am flying it. I couldn't describe to you like the feeling inside me. It was just starting to bubble out. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I don't have to take antihistamines every day anymore. I sleep so well, so well. I don't get that rage, thank God, because the guilt from that was like the mom guilt was awful for that. Um, the flutters in my heart, because everything had been checked medically and I knew medically it was all okay, but it was still there. But once I started on the four of them, because they complement each other so well, it was life changing. And I'm not being dramatic. It literally was life changing for me personally. So I am forever grateful to Colleen and to the products and the whole lot because I will never not be without them now. I still am as busy as I was back then. I'm still doing the runs. I literally 10 minutes before this call was dropping off a car full of teenagers that had spent 2 nights at my house. Like that's always going to be my life. I'm from a big family. I have kids. I love having people over and having kids over and all that. And our house is just that type of house. It's like a revolving door. And but the difference now is that I don't suffer because of it. Do you know what I mean? I feel brilliant. I feel great, and that has a knock-on effect to Sean, to the kids, to my family, to mom and dad, to my sisters. My friends. I have just more zest, just more life in me, I suppose. I'm 48 and I feel like I'm 20. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, woohoo, this is, I'm up front. Do you know what? I absolutely love it.
It's incredible, Joyce. Because there's so many people out there suffering, and 2.5 years you're on the products. Is that what you said?
Yeah, nearly three. Yeah.
Nearly 3 years. Can you imagine if you never found the products where you would be today,
No.
like at 48?
Oh,
Like,
Sabrina, I don't want to even think about it. I couldn't contemplate. I would probably be divorced. That's the first thing. I'd say he would be like, good luck, you nut job. Go away. Like, no, not a hope. Like, and I just do you ever just like if you picture like somebody just dragging their feet along and going along with life, like that is literally was what I was. Whereas now I am shoulders back, head up, chest out. I'm happy.
good. And
So
and Joyce, there's a couple of people on this call, but a lot of people are going to watch it back. What would you say to somebody, that was in your position? nearly 3 years ago, like what would you say to them? Because a lot of people don't think that the products can impact their life so much that it obviously has impacted you. And obviously, I know what they've done for me, but for you
Mm.
on your level, for perimenopause, for the energy, for the sleep, for the skin, like what would you say to somebody to really help them understand that these products genuinely work on a cellular level inside your body?
Yeah, I would definitely just say, I mean, if you're someone like me, don't think about what they're made of, what they can, the cellular level and all of that. If just try it. Trust some people that have gone through it themselves and listen to your body. It's a big, big thing, is just stop and listen to your body and just try them. You never know unless you try. And, there's experts out there for a reason. These experts have come up with this vegetable that complements this fruit, that complements this berry, like for a reason. They're experts for a reason. They went to college. All we have to do is take 2 minutes in the morning to take it. And with some very small adjustments and lifestyle changes, you will not regret it. You can't, and I know people say this all the time, but you can't pour from an empty cup. It's okay to say, right, I need help. It's absolutely okay. It's better for you, for your kids, for your family, but mostly for yourself. Start with you. That's the biggest thing that I've learned is start with yourself and it'll have that knock-on effects like dominoes.
I absolutely love that.
So
Joyce, thank you so much for sharing your
no
amazing.
bother.
Absolutely delighted for you. I really am. And you can see that you're happy. Like you can genuinely see it from you. Your skin is glowing. And I'm
Thank you.
delighted that Sean got his wife back. And I'm delighted that your kids got their mommy back as well. So, Joyce, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking
Thank
time and
you.
shared this beautiful story. And we appreciate you so much. Thank you. And have a good evening, everyone. Thanks everyone for
Thank you
watching.
guys.
Bye. Bye bye.
Bye.